welcome to episode 2 of our discussions on No Holds Barred pod. That's Sal.
Hello.
I'm Don, and our special guest today is Will. Will, you may have seen on social media, he went a bit viral last week for a speech he made. We'll come on to that in a minute to Richard Tice, of all people. So we'll come on to that in a minute with Will. But yeah, great to have you, Will. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys very much. Yeah, thanks a lot.
How's it been since you went viral last week?
Well, here's the thing, right? Because I've done like TikTok things in the past, and when I put it on TikTok, I knew it was going to go. I knew it was going to do well because whatever happened, there was 2,000 people in that hall.
Yeah.
So I knew that because I put the location on, it was going to recommend people it. So I knew it was going to do well on TikTok. What I didn't realize was going to happen is Twitter was going to pick it up.
Yeah.
And that's what made it go crazy. Because I remember what happened is I was like, oh, it's doing well on TikTok. I'm going to be honest, I kind of expected it was going to. And then what really got me is I think it was on Wednesday, my dad woke me up at like 6:30. He goes, Will, I'm about to leave for London. You've gone mega viral. And I'm like, oh, hang on.
Wow.
That's really
nice.
What's going on here? The thing is, the night before, I'll get onto this in a minute. I was calling the news sites because I was like, if this has gone viral, then if I could get more eyes on it on the mainstream media, that would have been brilliant because then we can just spread the message, sort of thing. And obviously, get me on the news is not a bad thing for future. And
Liar caught lying to child.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But what happened is I wake up and I just go on, and it's the real thing that got me shocked is Alistair Campbell reposted like 3 of the videos, and I went on and
he hates them.
It's mainly Liz Webster's one that went really crazy.
Liz, yeah.
Because Liz picked it up, and then I saw a few others. I mean, Narinder picked it up as well.
Narinder, yeah.
I mean, Narinder I've got nothing but thanks to, because she's been so helpful the whole time. She's been very supportive. And amazing. So it's just, that's happened. And then what happened is I got in contact with Narinder I got in contact with the people that emailed, and including the journalist that wrote the article that I talked about, who's like the head interviewer of the Sunday Times. She's like the biggest name person I talked to.
Wow.
Because I just did it through email, and I emailed them all. And what happened is then I asked Narinder, because we were just talking about it and what was going on, I might as well direct people to an account I have. I never use Twitter because everyone says it's toxic, which it is.
Oh, it's awful.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's terrible. But
it really is.
I said, I've got this account. I'm just going to change the name. If you could repost it and tag me in it, and just tag my account and see what happens. And literally in a day, I got 1,000 followers, which is insane. Like on Twitter, and what I've heard about Twitter now, because normally I'd say I'm a social media person, but I didn't know about Twitter. But what I've heard is the first 1,000 followers is really difficult to get, and then after that it's easier. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's the case. I do have some questions though. I'm confused about the tweets because some of mine do really well, and then some of them just do absolutely terribly.
Well,
Sal
I'll let Don,
about this.
I'll let Don field this because I didn't join Twitter till 2021 because I was ill and I had to get myself better because I wanted to effectively join the front line of discourse because I knew I have verbal skills. I can play these people at their own games often. And I am unfortunately so good at it that I got into a ding-dong with Suella Braverman and my account just got frozen 2 years ago and it's barely moved since. And I've tried paying for it and everything and nothing works. I am just on the naughty step hidden in a little corner. So, and then Don, of course, when we hooked up with the podcast, you had what was it, 5,000, something like that?
Oh, no, only about 3,000.
Oh, but with your writing and stuff, you just, and sort of sticking your head above the parapet, you've just rolled, and Don's on fire. going great guns. He's a lot less sweary. If I'm honest, we're very different characters, but with the same principles and morals and stuff. So that's why this works and Twitter doesn't work for me. I think.
Okay,
so,
I see.
To answer your question,
I've seen Don's tweets. I've seen Don's tweets before, but I haven't seen yours. That's the weird thing.
Yeah,
because
it's a really strange beast. Go on, sorry.
No, I honestly don't really understand how Twitter works. But to be fair, I did look up what's a good way to what's a good tweet format to go viral. I was like, let's see how that works, and it actually did work. And it was just like, I don't know if you guys saw it. I think Don saw it. It was just me listing a bunch of stuff Nigel said about Russia, and because I put the years first, apparently that's like some thing that really attracts attention, and it did actually work. So maybe I should do more of that.
I'll take that on.
Yeah.
There's a definite way. You guys some as well, but
there's a definite way to write on Twitter, especially because I write longer posts often because I've got the blue tick. But it's a bit like old-fashioned journalism where you'd have what they call above the fold. So you'd have all the important headline information in the first couple of sentences, and then the ... appears, and then but you have to make it so that people want to click the ... and read on. So there's a bit of that, but I don't know. Sal's really been held back, and it's a really strange thing because, as she says, like we're very much the same kind of principles on Twitter, but I don't know. Maybe it's a momentum thing.
I've tweeted things Don's written for me just to test it, and it just same as everything I put out. So that kind of proves it.
We did that, didn't we? And I wrote the same tweet the next day, and I got like 10 times the views on it. It's really strange.
Here's the thing, right? I do, because I've done other social media stuff before, and what I know is it is possible that on other apps your account can get almost blacklisted. So have you tried to create a new account and done it on a new account? Because that's probably because it's possible that there's like an AI system or something that's marked your account.
Yeah. I'm certain there is. And I've tried talking to Grok, and you can't, even when you pay the top whack on Twitter, you can't get a human person to help you. It's outrageous.
No, that's the big problem that we've got at the moment with Twitter is that since Musk took it over, and he's Grok, his AI version, his Chat GPT, effectively that he has.
I've seen it, but I haven't used it, so I have no idea what it's like.
Well, it's a bit like Chat GPT. You can ask it to do the same stuff, but what he's done is put it in charge of moderation of the entire platform. So anything that you put on, if you have a complaint, it goes through the AI first, and then the AI sits above Twitter platform. And as Sal said, to get to a human above that is pretty much impossible now. He's relying fully on AI, and because AI is massively fallible, as you probably know, it makes it really difficult then to get out of Sal's position where she's been shadow banned, like you were saying about before. I think that feels like what's going on.
Setting up a new account and LARPing as a right wing just out of curiosity, but I couldn't be arsed.
Okay, but anyway, I can talk about.
Can I ask,
we've gone on to,
where did your political interest come from? That's what I'm curious about.
Okay, so that's where I could have gone right. This is a weird one, right? Because I have a friend called Ted. I'm going to get onto him later, and he's always been really political. So he's strongly political, and as in, like, he knows really good knowledge. He's got brilliant political knowledge and things. But I can remember, right, throughout primary, we used to talk. This is obviously a very weird case. This is not a usual thing. But we used to talk sometimes when we were younger about politics on, like, stuff like the playground stuff. So what I'm pretty
political?
Sure, my dad is into politics, into the sphere. That's how we knew about the Twitter. But he's not strong in his opinions,
views, right?
If you see what I'm saying.
Okay,
So he's not.
Yeah.
So I've been able to I think my parents have done it so I could do this. I've completely formulated my own opinion off what I've heard, and
that's good.
What I think what's happened is, I've got increasingly more interested, and it's because I've been a massive YouTube merchant my whole life. So I've literally, I don't know what it is. I basically had basically been addicted to YouTube. I think I'd say.
I know.
And
As a parent,
much,
I know that. Yeah,
it's much better than being addicted to something like TikTok or Instagram.
absolutely.
Because
Yeah,
it's got because YouTube by a mile is the best social media because it's got the video range is amazing and it's got so many educational videos. And what has happened is I've got way more into those educational sort of videos, and there's just particular channels that is just really. I mean, do you know any of the political YouTube channels?
Yeah. Do you know who do you follow?
So my favorite, because this is the type of thing I'd like, because I like sort of political scrutiny. So do you know, I can't remember, is either Just Some Geezer or Just the Geezer. He's left wing and he goes into, and basically he scrutinizes the politicians
I have seen
in
that.
a very funny way.
Oh,
and
right.
even though it's not the most factual, it's what he says is literally what I believe in. Plus, he shows all of the bad things about politicians. And then I found Led by Donkeys as well, and that really interested me. Like I particularly remember finding interest in the Tufford Street stuff, the Tufford Street Network stuff with Liz Truss and everything. And that really, it was the particular YouTube channels like that really got me on board. There's some I don't like. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of who I'd say is the most popular left-wing guy at the moment. Do you know Jimmy the Giant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Gary,
the reason I'm not... Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy, you don't like?
No, Jimmy's not Gary.
No, I like him, but the reason I'm not a massive fan of him is because I find his videos very mixed, and I mean, I think they're very good for people if they want like a baseline knowledge. I don't know how to put it into words.
The thing is with Jimmy the Giant, sweet, you're not his target audience. He used to be a right-wing teenager, and he's trying to get hold of those people and just give them the very basics of why they're wrong.
But also,
that's what he's trying to do, I think.
Yeah.
So he's not trying to appeal to you, do you know what I mean? I'm sure if he did like a video on something that was lefty and not focusing on pulling the right away, then it might interest you, but he's trying to get the radicalised kids away by being, he's like not a left Andrew Tate, but do you know what I mean? He's trying to give them another option that isn't misogyny and being a knobhead.
I see what you're saying, and what the thing about him is I also really like listening to people that I know are very knowledgeable. So that's why I mean, I haven't really watched him much, but that's why I obviously like people like Gary Stevenson, because I know what he's talking about with economics. And I know, for example, who is it? There was someone else that I know for certain.
Do you watch A Different Bias? Phil Morehouse.
Wait, what? Sorry?
There's a different one called A Different Bias by Phil Morehouse, former school teacher. If you like your information and your facts, you'll love A Different Bias. He's brilliant, Phil.
Phil's very good.
He's very, very fact driven. He's very good.
Cool. Okay.
What I'll do is in the show notes when this goes out, I'll put links. I've got the Just Some Geezer. I have seen his videos in the past, so I'll put some links in the show notes, and I'll put your recommendations, ours as well, if you want to have a look at him. So yeah, Phil's really good one to watch.
Yeah.
I think Just Some Geezer is my favorite though, because he's what I would say is the most entertaining, because he in a funny way he completely picks out these people, and it's not just, and the reason I really like it is this is a big point with me that I'll get onto, is I think if you're left or right wing, then I think you can't just completely, as the kids would say, glaze your own side of the argument. You have to admit you have to admit defeat on the points, obviously, where you can't defend, where you think logically, oh, that doesn't make sense, right?
Fine.
So I just thought I have a big thing in politics where it's like, as much as you can support one side, even though I would say I'm centre-left, I would say that you have to admit, like, there's no point if, like, for example, if an MP from a party you support does something terrible, like, I don't know, like, you can't, like, defend them, if you get what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
in the
of course.
same sense of, like, if you support reform and Nathan Gill sends bribes to Russia, you can't defend that, for example. You have to just admit
Yeah.
that's an issue. And then it's the same on the left, in the sense of, like, if there was, like, there's obviously, this happens in all parties, but if there's a MP for Labour that's found to be, like, a sexual assault charge or something, you can't
Boot him
defend
into
him.
the sun.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. So you have to be open. You have to say when things go wrong. Like, for example, I've always been a massive fan of Zach Polanski. I don't know if have you seen the Rest is Politics stuff? Yeah.
I watched I was going to say to you, Don, if you haven't seen it, watch him on The Rest is Politics.
I haven't yet.
I watched it last night. It was exquisite, and I'll tell you why. Will, I've been trying to figure out how all my life we can explain to the majority that human life is more important than money. And Zach's entire strategy right now is explaining that to the right in a language that they'll understand. Because as far as they're concerned, it's all about money and making more money, and nothing else matters. Except it does, and now everything's falling apart because they've perpetuated unfettered capitalism. And when people become so wealthy, they just have a god complex. It makes them psychologically unwell because they don't have the same rationale as everybody else, because their life is incredibly different. So they literally, by definition, become delusional, which is where Trump and Musk come from. They were born into this. They were born into believing that they are superior to everybody and everyone must do their bidding. Well, that's not how it works, or it shouldn't be, because this is what happens.
I get what you're trying to say. I get what you're saying. I don't know if I would go to the extent that what you said, but I'll say what I was going to say about Zach Polanski.
Oh, I am very hardline.
Yeah. With I know. Yeah.
For a reason, not in reality, but for this purpose, I am trying to drag the Overton window. So I don't necessarily say what I truly believe. It's my ideology, but I'm trying to be hardline because it needs pulling back. And if we could just get halfway to where I'd like to get, then I've won. I mean, I'm speaking, hypothetically, but that's what I do. I am not delusional.
What was your take on Zach Polanski then, Will?
Well, he's obviously a brilliant talker. He's obviously a brilliant person at answering questions. Like, I think he's honestly the best in politics right now at answering questions, of just on a general sense of on shows. But there's no denying he was not good with numbers today. There is no denying. I'd say that is something that you have to say, that he wasn't on the ball with the numbers.
Right.
But that doesn't mean, I still don't think, I mean, I haven't actually watched it, but I've heard what my friend said, plus I've obviously seen, like, the trailer clips. But what I think is, I think it's not as big of a problem that he doesn't know the exact numbers for the economics, because he didn't study economics. But he still needs to know the numbers, but it's not enough for me to not vote him, because obviously there'd be economics people in his party that would advise him. So it's bad, but it's not terrible. Do you kind of see what I'm trying to get at?
I do. Can I just, Sal, before you say sorry, I just wanted to say that, because I think we have to treat Polanski the same as we treat reform, and it goes back to a bit what you just said a minute ago, Will, in that we have to be non-partisan and fair, and we hold reform to account because their numbers are always flipping nonsense, to be honest. They're always pulled apart. I haven't seen the Rest is Politics, but I will watch it before we record again, and we'll have a chat, Sal and I, about it for sure. But yeah, I think you need to be. I think you can't let him off the hook as easily as maybe you want to just yet. But I understand what you're saying. That's all. I think everyone has to be held to the same level.
I totally appreciate what you're saying, but one thing that Zach did talk about was paradigms, and I've never heard that used in a political discussion before, and it perfectly executes, really, what I've been trying to explain about the system we've got that is literally will end humanity within 200 years. This is projected from where we are now. If we carry on with capitalism, just literally the wealth being sucked right up, to a system that we should be living by, that is more equitable and fair. And I mean, it's incredulous that people have got more money than Croesus while people die on the street because they are viewed as unworthy because they had rough upbringings and weren't born to millionaires. It's just insane. And it just shouldn't be like this. And that's what Zach is trying to, like, shrink the wealth gap back. If he came in, he would try and fundamentally reshape economics, because do you know what? It's a theory, and human life is natural and belongs to nature and the climate, etc., etc. We don't harvest money. We've imagined it, you know?
Wait, so can I respond? Right, because the main point is, what I agree is the biggest issue in the country, which is extreme wealth inequality. Like, this is what I think we all agree is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think you do have to admit he wasn't on it with the numbers, as much as what you're saying is true.
Yes.
As his point was completely right. But it's devalued, and you just have to be honest and say, oh, he wasn't on it with the numbers. And because otherwise you need to be fair. Otherwise, I think there's an extent of, like, people not actually believing
I'm not
it.
sitting here saying he's an economic genius. I agree with you. What I'm trying to say is that he's trying to introduce a brand new narrative that's never before been seen in politics. I've been waiting my entire life for it. That this system isn't the only way we can do things. It's not. It's just not set in stone. And what it is has literally. Do you know what titration is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were recently at science class, weren't you? So you will know. It's literally our entire generational lifetimes. It's been a capitalist titration that has just been very slowly. Businesses enter politics and maneuvered things so that it suits business more than it suits the population, which is actually the entire job of politicians, is to look after the proletariat, but they're not. And it's been an increasing thing since, I don't know when it started, but certainly in the 70s when I was born, when Maggie started by selling everything off to capitalists. And then they slowly started owning everything. And now small businesses are slowly starting getting fewer and fewer and fewer, and retail parks and big brands are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're trying to industrialise society, in mine and many other people's views, Liz Webster included. But this is the end result of what we've lived through, and it feels very much like end stage capitalism to a lot of people.
No, I completely get what you're saying. I get the points. I think the main aim, I mean, I think is the wealth tax is, like, the biggest thing we should change. I'm not saying it will fix all economic problems, and I'm also not denying it will, to a degree, decrease incentive for investment, but not to a level of not to have it. I mean, I've looked into the wealth tax a lot and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, do you want to get back on topic, or are we good here? Because
I was just going to ask you one more thing about that, just as a kind of related thing. You're talking about the wealth tax. Are you aware of the Patriotic Millionaires group? Have you come across them at all?
Are they the people that argue for a wealth tax that are millionaires? Yeah, no, I have seen them, yeah.
So Sal and I were lucky enough to be invited to interview some of them recently, and I went to Stroud and interviewed Dale Vince, who runs Ecotricity and Forest Green Rovers, and also Stephen Kinsella, and Sal spoke to Bex, wasn't it, in Liverpool, and I just wondered what their cut through was, if it reached kind of your sort of age demographic yet, because they're just wealthy people that are just trying to help, but they don't seem to be getting the traction or the cut through that they deserve to be getting. That's all. I was wondering if it's coming down the age groups. That's all.
I'll tell you who is getting traction with my age group. That is Gary Stevenson.
Gary, you see, he's one of them. He's part of that group.
This is partly why I know about it. He is, because I know. I mean, obviously, I'm in a politics class at a good sixth form, so people, I'm with people that are of similar, like they're of good ability, and they're smart people. They're smart people. So
yeah, of course,
obviously, people are going to be aware about these types of people, but like on the majority, Gary's economics as a thing
that's interesting.
is very well known, and I think this is why I was keen with the mainstream media. I think what he's done with the mainstream media in the past, because this is how I knew about him first. I think it was like 2 years ago the first time I saw him, he started it probably. I think was it like 3 years ago? Was it 5? Like,
it was a while back.
It's 3,
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
Gary's been banging on for about a decade.
Yeah. But the actual
I only knew of him about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Yeah,
2-3 years.
So
back.
it was like 2 years ago because I saw him on the TV because he's done so much mainstream media stuff, loads. Yeah. So I think that's what has really helped, and plus people. There's something about him that everyone just resonates with his message so much. So
I think he sounds kind of. Exactly that. That's what I was going to say. He sounds like he's a working class boy.
So he relates to everybody
relatable.
from where he's been to where he's got to.
I think that's the cut through difference. He doesn't
except the rich people, they really
traditional
don't like
city boy. Apart from who?
Rich people don't like him at all.
Oh no, no, he's getting hammered a lot in the right wing press. I saw a lot of that.
They've got nothing. Like Zach,
him and Zach. I was about to say him and Zach Polanski seem to be on a kind of parallel trajectory. They're both gaining a lot of media, and they're both sort of being hounded by the right-wing press now because they're popular and they're becoming more and more popular. But yeah, anyway, that's interesting to know.
Apart from, like Will said, is sort of I don't think he's quite got his script together with his economics from where we are to where we want to be, and he is going to need to be able to explain that, like you said.
Zach, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but again, it's early days. But as you said, Will, we all have to be held to account to the same degree. I think that's really, really important. And
100%. That's what we're all brought up to believe, isn't it?
Exactly, but we target reform because they're an easy target because nearly everything they say is wrong. That it's a lie generally, and so they're quite easy. And what you mentioned a minute ago about Labour MPs, I have a lot of followers on Twitter who are big Labour people. And if I'm ever critical of Labour and in any way, they get really angry with me. I'm like, but, you can't.
You've got to
I voted for Labour at the last election because I had to get the Tories out. But that was my only focus. I would have voted Green, but I wanted it had to be guaranteed that the Tories left. But, these Labour fanatics, they're like almost as bad as the reform fanatics, some of them. And as you said, you have to be fair. You have to be if someone does something wrong and you're in your party, hold them up as well. Don't be like defending everything they do.
You're just as bad as the right otherwise, aren't you?
That's it, exactly.
Who literally don't know what accountability is. It's like some sort of allergy to them.
And that's what I think I said to you on Message, Will, is like Sal and I although we're sort of, Sal's a bit more left than I am. I'm probably a bit more left centre, a bit like you, but
to describe
we're
my
fair
politics,
to everybody.
I don't think it's fair people should be dying and in pain just so a load of rich people can.
No, exactly. It's. I don't think you need to label yourself.
It's mental.
No, yeah. I don't think we need to label it.
No, I get
we're not right wing, but that's it.
Michael
but
Squires,
other than that, I think
Squires called me so left I can't walk.
Michael Squires, our friendly reform counsellor.
He actually is, though. It's weird. Anyway,
sorry, we're going away again. Right.
Yeah.
What's the time when? 47. Okay, yeah. So, let's talk about the video.
Mm-hmm.
So, what led
just
up
as a whole.
It? Where was it? At your college?
So where it actually was. So, it's a politics conference. Yeah, no, it was it was a politics conference in London, and it was at Westminster Hall, which is right next to Westminster Abbey. So it was. That's why it's such a lovely building. And as I said, there's literally 2,000 people in that room. And this is funny, right? Because
really
that
was.
whole experience was just the reason that everything has happened is because of luck out of people's kindness. I'll tell you how it started, because basically, originally it was Nigel Farage who was going.
Oh, was it?
And I saw on the thing, Nigel Farage, I was like, oh my God, I have to ask him a question and take him down. Because I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, everyone's really mad when I'm critical about Nigel, because I try and stay fair and be accountable about everyone. But the reason, what I've seen from Twitter, people are mad about Nigel is because they feel like he's standing for their rights, like their British values, for example. But what I find with him is I find him extremely corrupt and very easy to get things out of. So, like, out of the corruption scale on politicians and things I disagree with, he's like
he's right
on a very high degree. So I was like, oh, what's the strongest things here? And particularly with like stuff like the Led by Donkey stuff, I knew Russia. I've got to ask him about the Nathan Gill stuff. And this is why it would have been better with him, with Nigel.
With Farage,
because he's literally known this guy, Gill, for nearly a decade. I think he's been working with him. Nearly a decade of working with Gill, and he's said loads. And what's even better is because of Zia Yusuf's absolute blatant lies of just him saying stuff. I mean, Zia Yusuf's probably the biggest liar I've ever seen in politics.
Oh, he's Zia the liar, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we call him. But we said on the last episode that his only job now is to go on telly and lie. That's literally all he does.
It's outrageous.
He's full on outrageous liar.
So this is why it would have been better with Nigel. But then I saw Nigel dropped out, which was really annoying. But of course, we had Tice as the replacement. So what I did is, so I already had this Russia question in mind. I was just like, I'll ask it to Tice. And it's not as impactful.
So transferable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not as impactful as the time they were in the Brexit party together while Gill was taking bribes was very small. And it's not as good as Nigel because he properly knew him. But they were still in the Brexit party at the same time. While they were taking bribes in this 2018-2019 phase. And on top of that, the main reason it's so suspicious is because of what was said in EU government. That's the suspicious thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I obviously didn't outline this, and this is what some people I've seen on Twitter haven't really. I don't know if they haven't grasped it or they are not taking it in, but that's what I've seen. And because of that, I mean, I still wanted to ask him, and I also looked up what he'd said about him and what multiple sources. This is where I need to hold myself to account. So we're going to get to here in a minute. I had multiple sources say he'd said he'd never met him, and there was lots of articles that said it. There's lots of social media that said it. Now, this is the issue, right? Because I said you blatantly lied in the Times article saying that you'd never met him, which is what a bunch of articles were saying. The problem is that was a slight paraphrase of what he actually said, but it was along the same lines. Do you get what I'm saying? So when I contacted the journalist, we're talking, I can't remember her name. She was a very, very, very famous journalist woman, as in, like, she's very high up. She's done people like Trump, like it's big names. The Sunday Times one. Yeah.
Decca Aikenhead, I've got the article in front of me, that's all, Decca Aikenhead,
Basically, what Decca did give me, though, this was the interesting thing. So, basically, he didn't say the words, I'd never met him. But what he did do is he apparently went in a bit of a frenzy when he was asked about Gill. and
Yeah.
contradicting himself. So technically what I said was not the truth, and I will be honest with that, because I did take what they said on the articles as kind of fact, because I couldn't actually go on to the Times article because it was behind a paywall, and I just was like, oh, I'm not going to go on. If there's articles and stuff saying that he said it. So that, even though that's not the case, the fact of the matter is he still knew he still knew Gil. So my question still stands. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, that's
It's a
partially why I
technicality,
went to
innit?
the viral. Yeah.
And with all due respect, it's not the only lie he's ever told. He's quite frequent with them.
Exactly. So, but he still did say something along those lines. I mean, this is what was brilliant about Decca, because she sent me something that I'm pretty sure is not in the article about what like the exact conversation exchange that they had. I might be able to load it up if I could find it. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the article in front of me that was published, and I read through it earlier, and basically a lot of it is Tice getting angry a lot. As you just said, he's quite easy to lose his temper, according to Decca in this article.
Oh, yeah, this is the worry. Word. This is the worry about Tice, because I was worried he was just going to like do something like demand an apology from me or something, because that's what I'd seen he'd done in the past. Okay, okay, what I can say.
Going back to the article.
Yeah.
Go on.
What happened was, apparently there's a bit in the article that's very, very, very similar to what he said, and he apparently also did make loads of contradictions and lies. So it's obviously this area that they're all just trying to dodge, and I'm going to be honest, they're not really dodging it in a very good capacity.
No, they're not.
So my point still stands, and what I've confirmed with Decca is that he is like, he is a liar. He's a bit habitual liar, but
they're pathological.
I don't know, it's
Well, let me tell you what.
They're all part of the super wealthy. We're not like everybody else, delusional nutcases, but they are delusional because the rest of the world doesn't get to live like them. But they make it. They think they should be the ones in charge of making decisions for everyone else. It's baffling.
Let me read out the bit from the article that's relevant, because it is, as you say, you sort of paraphrase slightly, but like, so a lot of the article she talks about him losing his temper. And then she said, when we met, I asked Tice if he can be absolutely certain that no one in his party could be suspected of receiving Russian money. He said, absolutely, 100%, 200%. And then he said, when did you become aware that Reform's former leader in Wales was suspected of being paid to make pro-Russia statements? And he said, only when arrested. But then she goes on to say that Tice said, he is accused, as I understand, of receiving money from people in Ukraine. And she said he was shouting this to her. Ukraine. He said there's no link to Russia. It's garbage. That's in the article. So he's saying, he's denying it's Russian. He's making the distinction clearly in that piece that it's Ukrainian, not Russian.
And screaming and crying.
Yeah. So that's a kind of interesting fact, I think, that that was the line of defense he took, was it's not Russia, it's Ukraine. That's odd to me. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So that was the question. But I'll quickly tell you about, this is the kindness thing we're talking about. So we get there, we get on the day, and how it works is they do a 15-minute speech, 15 minutes of asking questions. So we're talking about that pool of 2,000 people. We've got 15 minutes to ask them questions and them to answer. So just to put in perspective how rare it would be. And what would happen is people go up before for whoever the person is. The big problem with the day is, first person was Zach Polanski. We get caught up in traffic and we miss 75% of it. And I was most excited for Zach. And the real painful thing is, when we were there, even though I saw him and I was listening, we had to stand by the door because we couldn't walk past everyone to go to the seats, because my school was at the back of, like, behind the politician. So, because we were the last, because of traffic. So I think we probably travelled the furthest out of any school that day. And, like, it was, like, we did miss a portion of the person I was most excited to see. But then it was obviously made up for with the Thai stuff. But when it came to the question, I go up to go to the toilet and I ask some people standing there for whoever was, it was 2 before Tice. And I ask, okay, what are you guys going to ask her? They say, we're waiting for Tice. So just to put this in perspective, this is before, I'm pretty sure this is before the lunch. This is before the 2 people. They are waiting for Richard Tice 2 hours early.
2 hours,
so
yeah.
This is how full on people are going. Then I go back, I get my photos. These are the photos. I'm going to show you them quickly now. This is the best one. This is the tweet of Tice. I'm sure you've probably seen them. And this is him in the EU. This is him on stage with him a bunch of times. And then this is also this is the funniest one. This is the leaflet thing that they sent out saying our beliefs and stuff. So that's what I've got in my hands.
That's
and
your proof.
Bearing in mind, this was quite a surprise. I don't think anyone else had really planned it out like I had, what they were going to ask the people. So people were up there, they were waiting for the question, and I show everyone it. And then we kind of form a line when he starts speaking, and I'm third. And I'm going, uh-oh, there's no way I'm going to make it to ask him a question.
Might not get in, yeah.
So because there's 4 mics in the hall, there's 4 mics. So they're going there's 2 downstairs, 2 upstairs in each corner. And I'm like, oh no. So I ask the people, because I've been talking to the people around, everyone is lovely. There was there was right-wing people there, predominantly left-wing, massively left-wing. This whole, as you can tell, the whole thing was left-wing. I asked the people, because I'm really stressed at this moment in front of me, the 2 girls in front of me, is it okay if I could go first? Because I'm so extremely set on this. And I'm so happy.
You get so worked up, don't you?
Exactly. And
so
incredibly.
They both let you in, yeah.
Yeah, and so they let me go first. This is incredible. And what's even better, right, is the girl at the front, she said, do you want me to film it and then airdrop it to you? I didn't even ask her to film it. So I don't know the girl that filmed this. And since she's messaged me on TikTok and I've just said thanks loads. She's the second person in line. So she films it for me. Thank the Lord she did that, because that's where so much of everything's come out. But so I ask, basically, he does his speech for 15 minutes. You 2 aren't going to believe this, but he comes across worse in person than you think. Seriously.
Oh, I can believe it. I can believe it, yeah.
And I'm not joking, right? This will entertain you guys. Is he... So, how pantomime villains, they get booed at everything.
Yeah.
At the end of every single line,
really,
he gets a massive boo at everything. Bearing in mind, this was always going to be a big left-wing audience, because normally the far left-wing, on top of that, we're very educated, the people in this room. So we're in an educated room. So it's always going to be predominantly left-wing. So everyone is booing at everything. And what happens is the speaker guy next, this is the funny bit, because the speaker guy next to him that's sorting out the crowd, telling the people who to speak, I do a stretch every time he looks up with the paper. Like this. Just so he knows I've got the paper and I've got stuff in my hand, because no one else has brought paper or notes.
You're prepared for this, you
are a strategist.
And I think it worked, because on the chance, this didn't happen all evening. He went to our mic first. So just to put this in perspective, this made a massive difference. He'd finished his massive speech, and what he was saying was, so he was just basically just trying to be hated. It seemed like he was trying to be hated. This is how bad this speech was. Yeah. So it was going on, and I asked the question, and everyone's like, "Oh, how were you not nervous?" Because this doesn't make sense to me, because I'm sometimes nervous to talk in front of my class of 30 people, and we're talking about 2,000 people in this hall. Like I still can't get my head around it.
So you got adrenaline, basically.
Yeah, but I wasn't nervous. I was so happy at the fact I was about to ask him the question, because I knew what was going to happen. So after I asked the first bit of the question, I can't even finish what I'm going to say. The
No,
loudest
everyone
clap of
started
the
cheering.
evening
Yeah.
of the first bit. Then I say the second bit. That's when it goes crazy. That's when we've got teachers standing up and giving me an ovation.
It's fantastic.
Like,
oh God,
it's incredible because like my teacher apparently didn't clap all evening because he very much likes to stay like
neutral.
He
calm,
doesn't want
stoic.
He wants to stay completely neutral, which I completely respect.
Yeah,
and I honestly think all of the teachers probably should have done that because that's
But also they're human beings who have to live.
Yeah. but like we're talking when I said that, the biggest reaction and the fact that he said what he said back to me, and I couldn't respond. I knew I couldn't respond. It's not like they turned my mic off because it was me. The point is you asked the question, so I knew I couldn't respond. But the fact that he said it in such a patronising manner,
it was awful.
Helped me so much because he came across in the wrong. If he just went on and said it was a lie, but he somehow made it sound even worse. I mean,
they can't stop digging.
What he said. You heard what he said.
He's just really condescending in his tone. He was like, "Oh,
do you really believe
really
everything you read in the newspapers?"
Yeah, and
Shut up.
That's not professional from. It's not professional from a politician, is it? That's not the way you deal with people.
Definitely.
No. He's not a politician. That's the point. He's a capitalist knobhead.
The thing is, right, what I wanted to do is this has been a big thing that lots of the right-wing people have been saying to me in the comments, is you were getting your friends and you were shouting out at him.
Oh, it's brilliant.
None of my friends I got to shout either did shout, except, by the way, Ted, the guy I'm talking about. If you watch the video, he's the one with blonde hair looking like he's absolutely about to go yes, because he's so happy because he's central, just about onto the left. So he's like he's there with me, and like he's just so happy that this question's getting asked because he obviously wants him to. So that that moment was, I mean, he didn't answer my question. He didn't answer it because my question is, this is what my teacher said to me to do, and God, he's so right. He said, start it with persuade me. And I don't know if you guys picked that up, but that made it.
I couldn't quite work out what you were saying, but that now it makes sense.
So I said, persuade me it's not worrying that you and your colleagues did not notice someone taking bribes in your midst. That's what I said. It was hard to hear. But I mean, if you want to, I don't know if you guys have seen on the pin post on my X account is of the crowd POV, and you can hear the crowd way more in that one. And you can just, that was crazy. And it's because it's that moment
that
after
was taken from behind him, wasn't it? So you were like,
so like it was a build up, right? It was like a few different emotions all in one, because then you heard the shock, then the laughter, then the claps, all in a period of like half a second. Like it was an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Like it was all I could do is just laugh. Like it's great because some people on TikTok had even posted my question from sitting down because it was like it's brilliant, and it came across.
You turned him into a 2mm man. It was brilliant.
And it came across because of kindness of others, basically.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
That's even better of part of the story that the two girls in front of you let you in, and you were able to then get into the position to put that forward. So I mean, that's awesome. It's such a sort of serendipitous way that everything worked out, that you were then able to sort of put that to him, and then now you're here chatting to us and talking to everybody else as well. So that's amazing. So I'm really conscious of the time. That's exactly what I was about to ask. Sal and I know each other quite well. What's next? What's your plans for the future?
Okay, perfect. I can happily get onto this. So what the plan is, I've always wanted to do some sort of social media thing in career, and I've always gone like, should I do social media? Should I do politics? Should I do my other interests and stuff? with what has happened and the links sort of thing I have, and the fact that we are talking like in my town locally, I've had people recognize me from the video.
It's famous now,
So
yeah.
people had it's particularly people my age. I don't know why, it's just seen this video. So this is the idea that me and Ted are going to do, and we're going to set up account and a social media account, and we're going to do it on what I think is the good plan is Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, and it's going to be an interviewing account of stuff like protests, politicians, and just people like asking questions, sort of thing. Like, so we'll ask protesters about stuff, and we're going to make it unbiased. So we're going to play devil's advocate or what our own opinion is on the protesters, just to test their knowledge.
Cool.
Sort of thing. That's what we're trying to go at. So the idea is because there's no one in my local area doing. We're in like a street interview style. So I've got a mic. It's not a brilliant mic. And what I really want to do is I don't know if you guys have seen the audit channels before.
I wrote about it this morning.
The politically illiterate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The auditors are horrible. Yeah.
Because left or right, if you're an auditor, it's what you're doing is not illegal, but it's
skirts.
I just say you're just being a bit of a twat, really. That's what it is. Like it's just yeah. But what we what we want to do is we want to go up to people and protesters on either side, and we want to ask, can we quickly interview you with this setting, and then we'll play devil's advocate of the points that you say, and then we're gonna I know the editing style to do, and we're gonna post that, and we're gonna see how it goes. And off what I've already done, I think this is the right move, because I know TikTok and I know what will work. So this is the plan and then what will also happen is we'll always, whenever we post, we'll do it like as a collab with our accounts. So then on our accounts, we can post what we think is in our view. So we're trying to find that mixture. And the point is, I'm trying to do an account that the left and the right can both watch. And hopefully they don't go
in the middle.
And it's the reason I say stuff like Facebook is because with Facebook, we can have the poll that we're a younger audience. And because it's predominantly older audience on Facebook, we can have that like difference of people watching the content produced really by the youth. And then on TikTok, it's because TikTok's like very easy, I would say, to go viral on if you do the right things. So hopefully I know what I'm doing with that, then Instagram Reels, and then I'll put it up on X as well and see how it does. The idea is because I've got the ties, I can send it off to the people, the good ones. And what I want to start with is the migrant hotel nearby. And then I want to I'm going to like debate the people, but I'm also going to debate people that are left wing, even though I'm left wing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just make the point. To create a media space, and then if this works, which I think it could do, we'll have like a branding thing, and what we'll do eventually is we'll have other young people we know help out with the account, and hopefully we can just create a political space. So the aims are it's kind of congestible, so more people can learn about politics and get brought into politics, but also we have those videos where we're like interviewing the local MP and stuff. And I mean, I'll send over the videos and everything. I would love if you guys could like shout it out once we've created it and everything.
Obviously,
of course.
But that's the plan.
Have you future. Have you seen The Saviour on YouTube?
The Saviour. What does he do?
He's early 20s, somewhere in the southeast he's from, but he goes around the country doing that. But he's a different. Yeah, there's a big old gap in the market, and I think he'll absolutely smash it. I really do.
Yeah, I think.
But he's already doing it, so it might be worth having a nose at him just to see how he's. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Send
But,
that over because what I was thinking is because in my local area, there's if I could, what we'd start with is doing all the protest stuff that's going on in my local area, and then we can get the people in the local area on board, and then hopefully grow the follower base of the people in the area, and then we expand by going
Branch
to other
out,
places like other places nearby, London. And if there's something like a Tommy Robinson protest, then we can go to something like that and just interview people. I mean, it is a dangerous game.
I was about to say you have to be careful with that, but yeah, you do have to be careful.
We haven't talked about the other young lads, have we?
What? Oh, the other young lad doing it with me. Do you mean?
No. The on the other side of the fence.
Oh, young Bob.
Do you mean young Bob or Reggie boy?
Oh yeah,
Those
but
two.
the thing about young Bob that I don't like is what he does, the Charlie Kirk thing of prioritizing spectacle over debate. And even though he's got the facts nailed down, I don't like what he's saying. He has got the facts and he can debate. I don't like the man that he goes at it. Because I mean, I'm going to be honest. He's if he set up a debate with Narinder, then I think he'd have a standing chance, like with Narinder. I'm saying the problem that devalued that clip I've seen of him talking to Narinder, because this is how I found out about him, is because he did just go up to her and she did say no. So that should be the sign of...
He hounded her,
You're not... Yeah. And the problem is because he goes round with a bunch of people as well, that's another issue. So it's not illegal, but it's immoral, I would say. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah. He's got quite an intimidating manner, but not necessarily. But as you say, he's got this sort of crowd that follows him around, videoing everything. The Turning Point mob, basically, and then that's what Narinder was sort of really aware of when they sort of jumped on her, and sort of there's about 10 of them behind the camera. And that's, if she said, go away, leave me alone, they should be like, right, okay, fine. But yeah,
and it's the fact that she was sitting out. She was sitting out of whatever the protest was as well. Yeah, it was. So it just looked even, if she was like there on like a megaphone or something, like right at the front. Well,
she has done, but not at that point. She wasn't. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And she was just, that's the issue I have with him. But someday, I mean, I'd really like to talk about him with immigration now, because I know all the statistics and stuff on that, and I'm comfortable to dismiss it's a problem. I mean, as in say, sorry, wait, have I said that right? So I say it's how it's not a problem.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things. Yeah. But, well, I mean, my view, I'll say quickly, my view is we need to change the system so we can set up asylum visas that are accessible at embassies around the world. That's my view quickly.
Exactly.
So that's
Safe
what
routes.
We need to do. So then,
safe and legal routes.
And the point is, so we don't have the hotels cost. But all the arguments, like one of his, he brings up overpopulation from what I've heard, which by all scientific metric, there is no
bullshit.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
It's the opposite.
So yeah, because he said what
they are
I
so
heard in
knowledge free.
But in the Narinder clip, he's got facts. But he also, this is what confused me. I'm going to look into this, by the way. He used the Tesco study, and I don't. It might be very valid, but I haven't looked into it. But he used a study from the Tesco's looked into about what they were using as consumers, and they found a bunch of undocumented people in the country. I also I mean, I would love to talk to him someday. He is a lot older than me and will know more facts for his side than me. But I think I stand a chance in the immigration debate today. And I think I could do the wealth tax. I'm giving him his respect. Well, I don't agree with him, but...
I'll let you into a little secret here. These people are they take a headline and they take all the talking points around it, and that is their argument. You go in there with substance and knowledge behind you, which they don't have all the pieces to the puzzle, which is why they've come to their conclusion, because they don't understand the full picture. I get
that.
So
and this is what's
all
really
you've got to do is go in there, and with your knowledge of, if colonialism never happened, we wouldn't be here for a start, and just work your way back. and all the economic reasons we need people in this country, and they haven't got an answer because they don't understand what you're talking about because they don't know about that part of it. It's baffling.
But what the answer is he says it's hurtful to the. I'm pretty sure he thinks it's more hurtful.
Snowflake?
But I've got because what I've got my statistics from is the Migration Observatory Committee from Oxford, which is an academic study. And what I've heard is I've just shunned out think tanks as a whole, and I've got it from an academic study and also the Home Office and the Office for Statistics, National Statistics. So we're talking about, we've got some trustworthy sources here. I completely trust the Oxford Migration Committee with wholeheartedly, and I base what I argue because whenever I look into incidents, sorry, I know I'm rambling, but whenever I look into big things like this, I go in with a neutral view, going, oh, I can accept anything. I look at the evidence and then decide. I mean, I've got it sitting in front of me. It's overwhelming that immigration is more helpful than...
Yeah, it's net positive, definitely.
Yeah, it's literally 100%. Like overwhelming evidence from the trustworthy sources. I mean, the whole, even like stuff like these are the most amend argument is stupid. The more crimes argument, statistics just do not back that up. Like how there's more crimes with increased migration.
Let you into a little secret on how they weaponize something per capita statistics, right? So you'll see graphs all the time saying, and we did a pod about it, about what's her name? Sal, help me out. The Tory MP, Katie Lamb, stood up in the House of Commons and said, you're more likely to be raped by an Afghan man than you are by a white man in the UK, which is obviously bullshit. It's just not even close to, but it's per capita. So if you had 1,000 Afghan men and 1,000 white British men, but obviously that's impossible. So it's a hypothetical statistic, but that's what they use to put their arguments across. I wrote about
They don't understand what per capita actually is as a concept, so they just spout it because they read it in a newspaper. Because
and the figures that they can then pull out are large figures to back up their argument, but they're wrong. They're not correct because they're not feasibly possible.
I'll let you into a secret, as in how I'm improving debate skills and the other side of the argument. I have friends that are right wing. They're not far right, but they're right wing.
Yeah, of course.
And
conservative.
Off the bat, I need to make this clear. I do not hate anyone. I don't even hate people that are far right. I hate people that are racist, that are corrupt. I don't hate people that have a right wing view. So what's been really interesting is my friend at school is a culture shock to me. I've never encountered someone that's right wing that's as knowledgeable as this person at my school, and this is my friend. And I talked about migration today, and it's even more interesting. He's an economic migrant, and to an extent, his argument was that all routes of asylum that he deems as illegal, even though I'd say it's irregular because I'm technical, but it's irregular. But what he deems as illegal is wrong, and we shouldn't allow it. And I said, and my claim is obviously we need to reform the system, but this is just it's really interesting because he also said things that then he went back on, like the crime stuff. Like the whole thing about the crime stuff is just, this is why I'm so passionate about the immigration thing as a whole, because it's particularly the crime thing that makes me worry, is in people are made to be racist, and it's not by their fault. It's by the
indoctrination.
It's by exposing the it's by exposing the crimes. The media talks about the crimes that asylum seekers commit, even though on average, like, there's no increase. This is what the Oxford Migration Committee found. Like there is just, except a small increase in property crime or something, like really small.
It's negligible.
And if that's, I understand it's hard, and it may be the statistics are not just completely on, but if we're talking, I've not heard a single like statistic of a genuine increase, except I have heard one about Afghanistan migrants. But like, if that's seriously one, I'm going to have to look into this particular one I've heard that came from the Oxford Migration Observatory. So I'm going to have to look into that. But I mean, it's just overwhelming, and it is just to distract from the wealth inequality plan, and it is to I mean, you know this, but this is why I don't blame the people that are seeing this and believing it, in the sense of like, I understand what they're saying. I'm really keen on getting it right. And this is what one of our videos on the unbiased thing's going to be. We're going to just ask people questions like, do you know how many, because obviously there was the recent statistics that dropped. This is why I did this. Do you know how many net migrants there were in the country for the past year? And then just see what people say. And it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what people say, because I think most
migrants pay tax, so and they do operations and they do good
if they're
jobs.
allowed to work,
Well, we're talking about migrants rather than asylum seekers. That's why.
Okay, fair.
If we're talking about I mean, I can break it down with like economic migrants, asylum seekers, and students. And it's like, if we break it down to those three, I think that's how we can easily do it.
Yeah,
but
that's a good.
It's this thing. If we're talking about net migration, plus if we talk about how many people, if I ask people how many people do you think has come across in small boats in the past year, the actual statistic is like 39,000. I bet
40,
people are going to say like 500,000. I bet this is going to be an interesting.
It's about 4.5% of asylum seekers come by boat. That's not the biggest route they use to come in, and nobody and the people on the right don't understand that.
Yeah, it's not the biggest route. I think it's more than 4.5% though.
It's not the greater majority. I don't want to talk about it, to be honest, because I don't want to shit on asylum seekers, because the poor bastards.
No, of course not.
But we could talk about that off camera maybe, but I don't want to go into it right here because it's not what we're here to talk about.
No, listen.
Anyway, I hope that gives you a good wrap on what I'm planning.
You've been amazing.
Anyone who's still watching me ramble on, I mean, I'd love to. We love any followers on all. You've heard all the platforms are planning to do this unbiased stuff on, and we hope it can become something that really brings the youth into politics, particularly with TikTok.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
So listen,
that'd be awesome.
I mean, we're going to wrap this up because we're at an hour and a half now, which is amazing. So on that front, anything you do, shoot it over, and we'll share it as much as we can. We can do anything we can for you. You're welcome back on the podcast anytime you want. Once you've launched, come back on. We'll have a chat again about how it's going. Yeah. But one thing, I'm just really appreciative of you coming on, and how
absolutely
it's made me feel really positive about the future of our youth.
Yeah,
it really has.
There is hope.
Because the media in our country is very right-leaning, as you are obviously aware. And so it's really nice to see a positive story coming out of the middle, left, normal kind of sensible people that's had a positive impact. So I really appreciate you coming in.
I'm telling you, from my background, it's predominantly left-wing. But I'm saying, that might just be my background, but I do think, I don't know if this is survey backed up. I think it's the young population is more left wing than right wing.
Yeah,
but
I hope so.
I think actually right wing is more popular with the older. But that's just the little thing I wanted to leave. But I think I think because lots of people said my videos given them hope and things, which is amazing.
That's why we nabbed you.
That's why I really wanted to chat to you. Yeah. Because Sal and I are basically doing what you're about to set up, but for an older generation, and we're battling the older right-wing media because it's harder to get heard. our age, I guess. But to
Yeah.
see you doing it from your perspective would be amazing. So yeah,
Oh, you're gonna
anything
fly.
you do, shoot
You
it
are gonna
over.
fly.
Shoot it
Thank
over.
you.
We'll share it out. Narinder's coming on the pod at some point, so I'll chat to Narinder about you as well. And yeah, because I chat to her and she's amazing. So she's the one that put me onto you. So yeah, thanks to Narinder.
This is what I mean.
So.
She's genuinely been brilliant. I couldn't ask.
It was
for
her
more.
that recommended to me, like, yeah, get Will in. So yeah,
she's obviously a brilliant human being, like genuinely lovely person. So yeah.
Cool. Right, on that note,
Awesome.
positivity, we'll wrap it up. So thanks again. And we will get this out. I'll edit it, get it out probably by Wednesday, but I'll drop you a message and let you know when it's out and ready. Okay.
Of course, wonderful.
Cool.
Right, thank you very much,
Cheers,
guys,
dude.
for having me.
Cheers.
Of course.
Take care.
Thank you lot.
All right, cool.
Bye-bye.